Hello, beautiful humans. Just trying to find the right page. Geeia Ariati here. And in the midst of trying to clear my field, I must have pressed go live. And so I'm having a little giggle and a laugh at myself because of the amount of density that was clearing from my body. And hopefully no one was sitting there actually watching that, but if you were, welcome to the world of energy healing. And transmuting and purging that which no longer serves in the density of your cells, your molecules. It is not a pretty sight. But it's brought me back into the giggle and the laughter of my authentic self. So that is where there is some joy to be had in this moment. I'm Geeia Ariati. I've been assigned the role currently of Oracle for the 144 and beyond, and I am of sound heart and sound mind most of the time. Except for those moments that still keep me in the point of separation, and then when I'm in separation I'm also a little insane, just like everyone else in the world. So I've been guided this morning to come to you with a direct channel transmission. Every morning I sit with source directive for my directive, and this morning I was guided to channel a directive for the whole 144 in relation to the planetary shifts, in relation to the full moon, in relation to the tipping point and the preparations that many of you are feeling and going through. There is rapid purifications taking place and rapid unifications, pending where you are on your journey, will pend what you are experiencing, and all levels of consciousness are moving through exactly what is required for them in this shift. Some of you may be feeling a large amount of tethering where you are in connection to yourself and then you're in a separation point, or you are experiencing deep dissension. So there is multiple initiate phases, and if you would like to understand a little bit more about the chakra clearings and what they are, I do have an in-depth tutorial or workshop that is in relation to the in relation to the chakra systems and what each chakra system in its initiate phase, clearing, purifying, what can be expected and why they move the way they do. A male and a female will initiate through these phases differently, and so there is currently information written up around how women go through the awakening process, and yet I'm yet to move through and give that to men, simply for the fact that men currently are not on the same level of consciousness as a majority as a whole, and so the focus is currently on women, and the men are rising as we all rise together. So my focus and my directive is to work with the 144 and to work with the woman of the leadership of the new earth. So if you're receiving this transmission, this is a energetic reading or a oracle projection. It is also sharing what themes, what may be moving through the human psyche, and it will work as an activator, a triggerer, and a clearing process. So there are the way these transmissions, when they're in direct channel work, is that you not only receive the frequency You receive the frequency, the cognitive words, the activations within the words, and you go on a little bit of a transcendence journey. So what I would recommend is a duty of care. So please do not listen to this recording if you are driving. Please do not listen to this recording if you are needing to have strong focus and concentration, if there's any possible danger, as you will be sent into a altered state of consciousness or a state of source connection to true mind, which feels like an altered state of consciousness, in which it is not. It is actually your true state of being, but because you are used to being separated from your true state of being, it feels quite multidimensional and can bring in a lot of increased frequencies, tingles, shakes, kundalini activation, and different visuals through your mind. Receiving transmissions like this may activate your own abilities, and you may see visions. So allowing the time and space, if you have it, if you are in your life but you can stop and pause, that is okay. Just be aware of your surroundings, where you're at, and if you are open to fully receiving, or if you are best to make the time and space to receive this at a later point in time. And so as I prepare this space and my body for this transmission, I ask that Archangel Michael in the highest form come in and hold safe space and passage for me while I'm in this, acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land, past, present, and emerging, and asking that the guardians of the matter hold 4 pillars in north, east, south, and west, so that I sit in the true center of the compass as the pillar of source information. I place my protection, security, and safety coding into this space. And anyone that's to receive this transmission, that is receiving this in the now, and placing all of the higher selves of the 144 that are choosing into this space so that they can receive this through the quantum field from sovereign choice if they so choose. That all transmissions that I do are in alignment with universal law, and that I am a vessel for the highest aligned truth that can be transcribed into word. Fully anchoring in and allowing for whatever the most potent, powerful information stream that is required for the 144, including myself, as if I'm serving thyself to the highest timeline, then I am serving the collective, and that whatever information through all realms, through all dimensions, through past, present, and future that is required for this recording and offering is gifted out in the awareness that some of the information that I share may be extremely challenging for your cognitive mind to receive, and may cause triggers, activations, and internal disturbance based on whatever false narratives, false light matrix, and paradigms of programming that you hold that may be disturbed by this information, and that it could cause you a disruption in your mental capacity for a short period of time until you release the contracts and the attachments to maintaining the denial of your truth, as your truth is not the truth. Is there anything else? Nope. Okay. So just allowing yourself to drop into this space with me and take 3 deep breaths, breathing in all the way up to the crown and holding. And exhaling out. toes all the way to the crown. Breathing in a little more, holding. And exhaling out. And again, breathing in. All the way in, all the way in, all the way in. As much oxygen as you can get into your body. Holding, squeezing. And exhaling out. As I now go and find and locate the Council of One that work in direct connection with Source, my highest magnetic self, and the streams of infinite intelligence that are required for this transmission. What your current collective and human race is moving through is a intense and rapid expansion process through the opportunity to either move through the realms of expanding into a higher state of frequency, or through the realm or the interpretation of ascension, or those that are choosing to descend into a point of source connection. And how we can explain this is that all beings are desiring to return to their source creator and to evolve, and that some beings desire to return through a point of the darkness of the void of creation, or through the point of lightness through the remembrance. Yet these are not separate, and that when you meet one aspect, you meet another. And so as you continue to focus your direction on one or the other, that is how you will experience your human experience. As you cannot go up without meeting the down, and you cannot go down without meeting the up. They coexist all at once, all the time. And as you allow yourself to recognize this and choose the center point and choose a point of unification, that you are able to see that as you are going up, you are also going down, and you can broaden your awareness and your bandwidth to receiving more than what you've been capable of receiving up until this point in time, based on your conditioning and the distortions of separation that have been programmed into your physical vessel, into the thought forms that hold the matrix conditioning of the human reality. What is easeful for you to make sense of this is to understand and to understand that the human collective runs from a 3D narrative. Majority of the human collective consciousness sits in a 3D dimensional plane of existence. Their consciousness is run in the point of duality, where right and wrong exists, light and dark exists, up and down. Yet they do not have the understanding or the awareness to see that these are coexisting all at once. And so there is a extreme separation point where they both exist, and yet they do not understand what they mean or why they are here as a learning point. And so they dance in both realms until they start to ascend into a higher expression of consciousness. Yet there are also individual beings that are and do function at lower states of consciousness in two-dimensional and one-dimensional spheres of consciousness of that which you would consider to be the darkness or a descended aspect of the being, in which they do not choose points of higher expressions of light. The light only exists in their reality, in the mirrors of their experience, in which they do not understand, and they try to control, make wrong, persecute against, judge, and control. These beings coexist in your planet, and these are some that you may consider to be what you would frame as the Illuminati, satanic consciousness, black magic, individuals that have gone into a point of overt narcissism to an extreme level, that it would be prescribed by a doctor or diagnosed from that point. Your mental health conditions are just different levels of dimensional consciousness that have fragmentation in them, each of them showing a different lens from a different energetic expression. And so as you are continuing to witness yourself and become aware of those in your surroundings, so that what you are fighting in the world, you become aware is just the mirror of what you be, and that you can see that you are no different from them, but you are choosing a different lens, and you are choosing to see through these individual beings that you can reclaim your totality. And so although we have talked about the third dimensional beings and the second dimensional and first dimensional, and we will do an in-depth consciousness reading on this so that you can make sense of these different expressions, because they all coexist within you, and if you have yet to see them, they will be highlighted in your external experience. If you are yet to make peace with them, to become whole with them, then you will push them away, you will make them wrong, and you will blame, shame, and project upon them that there is something that they need to fix, because you are yet to see this within yourself. So pending what your dimensional consciousness is at this point in time, whether that be that you are starting to commune and communicate at a 5th dimensional level, 7th dimensional, 9th dimensional, 12th dimensional, and beyond, that these expressions all hold the same energetic signatures. There is not one point in your reality that you do not hold the same energetic signatures. And so that is why here we can speak to and communicate with you as a whole, because you all hold the same energy signatures. You all hold the same core wounding. You all hold the same fragmentation points. You all hold the same identities and sub-identities. Every single being on your planet is but one of these expressions at one point in time, pending where they are evolving from. So if one of you holds the superiority complex, then the other one holds the inferior, and vice versa. It's just what is overt and what is covert, what is in the exterior and being seen, and what is in the interior, so within as without. And at current, you are not witnessing this in your world, which is where it makes for a separation point between you and the world, you and humanity, you and your beloveds, you and your children. You are one. You are the same, yet you are experiencing each other from a point of consciousness that has a different perspective, lens, and awareness of what these energy signatures are. There is not one mirror that is more cosmic than another. There is not one divine union that is more synergized or resonating than another. You all are this. The only difference is that when you meet this level of resonance, that you can interpret it from your internal consciousness, that you can actually identify it, that you can see it from the conscious lens, that this individual being is a direct energetic vibrational match to me, that is showing me that I am this and they are this and we are one. And you can choose to meet these experiences in this way, where you see that you are journeying the exact same thing, and you can use it to expand your consciousness, expand your vibrational frequency, expand your awareness and what your directive is, or you continue to create a separation point, a wrongness, a lack of understanding to what is taking place within the experience of another. There is only one, the one, the one or the divine union, the cosmic union, the expression of unity, there is only one, and that is the one that you recognize as you meet yourself in Source, and that you see that you are all Source. You are different expressions of frequency and vibration, and you are all God, Source, Creator. There is not one of you that is separate from the other, and without the separation point within your mind, you would return. Yet, you can hold a connection to Source in your physical separation. This is choice, but this is a continual choice to remember God, Source, Creator, because you cannot maintain that full connection whilst you are in physical form. And so you are redirected over and over and over again to remember your Source connection. And that tethering point, that separation point, that story, that judgment, this idea that you are not me and I am not you, the more that that dissolves, the less that there is a point where you are divided. Because as you remember true mind, you recognize that what I do for the I am presence is the I am presence of you, and the purpose of life is to remember the I am, and that the I am then becomes the purpose of life. And this purpose is because you recognize that what you do for you, you do for another, and what another does for you, you are doing for them, that there is no point of difference. And this is the most simplistic and yet the most complex and difficult narrative for the human brain to understand. Because as you continue to live through the separation point, you cannot make sense of this. As the darkness does not allow for this to be seen, it's only when the darkness and the light meet that there is a shining to see and recognize and illuminate that which has kept this point of separation there. And yet the separation is the very gift that reminds you to return to Source. And so there is not one point of consciousness that is more superior or better than the other, as each point of separation and each point of connection hold their own gifts of remembrance. And it is a cycle of closing and creating, completing and recreating, destroying and rebirthing, new life and death. Over and 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 over again, you are in that loop of creation and destruction. And so as you recognize that your ego or your identity, your shadow consciousness, whatever that point of you is the reminder to return to that which you are. That as it shows up, that you love it, that you become best friends with it, and that you see that it is the reminder to step back into the authentic nature, to trust a little more, to surrender a little more, to open a little more, to see a little more, to have a little more compassion, kindness, recognition for yourself, to open the awareness, and to be able to see that it is just a reminder to return to thee. And as you move through this turbulent time, as the collective consciousness shifts to have a less wide separation point, that is all that is taking place, is the separation point is becoming of a width that is of a less point from light to dark, consciousness to unconsciousness, into the fifth dimensional expression of consciousness. And there will still be separation, and there will still be anger, and there will still be war, and there will still be pain, and there will still be suffering, and there will still be all that you are yet to accept within yourself as a mirror for you to see that until you meet the point of truth and understand that each of these elements are but all of creation and existence, ever eternal, always lasting, in every dimension, in every plane of expression, through some form or another. That you can accept that the new earth has a new consciousness, but it is not much more than what you are already experiencing in the now. And that the shift will take thousands of years. And to be in the true reality of what is taking place. That some of you have come here in the awareness and the knowing of that which you already are. You have already met a point of unity consciousness, and all you are doing is remembering that and anchoring it into the earth. But those that are here do not have that lens of awareness. They do not have that remembrance. They do not have that knowledge, that information. You are here to bring the light of that. And the only task that you have is to remember who you are. To remember your authentic expression at this point in time, no matter what plane of existence or dimensional realm of consciousness that exists from. That your role is to see who you be. And as you see who you be, you see others for who they are. Because you recognize that hurt people, that people that are in ego meet people in ego, that people that are in pain create pain, suffering. And then when you choose acceptance, flow, trust, love, compassion, kindness, you meet those that are choosing those energetic resonance and vibrational frequencies. And that any of the destruction and creation within your world is because you are choosing it and you are still creating it. And that there is parts of your consciousness that are running as you step out of your connection to source, and they guide you back to see that I created this because I am the only one, and the one is me, and the one is me in the mirrors of all of my reality. You cannot blame. You cannot project. You cannot make another wrong for the hurt that you are experiencing, for the damage of the world, for the wars, for the crimes against women and children, because you are creating it, each and every one of you. So what are you unwilling to recognize about yourself that is still creating this reality? Because when you choose to own that you are the creator of your reality and you are the connection to the one source creator, then you can choose to create your own timeline. You can choose to create a timeline that you gift out to others, and then you meet others that are choosing this timeline and are in resonant frequency of it. So that there are new realities created upon Earth. Because all dimensional spheres exist here at once. It is really up to you around how you want to continue to evolve. Do you want to continue to evolve in the false light matrix and the paradigms of peace and love, only to find yourself meeting the realms of hell because you are unwilling and to witness and to sit in the true reality and choose from a place of oneness, allness that is, and see thyself in the distortions that created that level of hell in your life to begin with? Or are you willing to see that you are the embodiment of some of the words that trigger your human mind, the demons? That you are the demon, that you are the mass murderer, that you are the pedophile. Have you looked at that? have you allowed yourself to see that level of darkness within yourself, to heal and to transmute, and to become aware of what that is? Until you can meet these energies from neutrality, you will continue to be polarized. You will sit in division and suffering. You will be unable to stay connected to your authentic self, because your authentic self is all of these energies. And once you meet all of these energies in the inner standing, you transcend them. You transcend them, and they no longer exist in your reality. They are no longer a part of your experience, because you made peace with all aspects, light and dark, up and down, in and out of them. Yet we are not asking you to do this either. We are not asking you to become unified. We are not asking you to become one. There are beings that have come here to do this and to be the light and to remind and to guide and to bring a little peace in your suffering, to bring a little gentleness when you forget, and to shine a light on a new reality that you have yet to see. You do not have to be anything other than what you are, and what you are is perfect and whole in the present moment. Choosing presence is the one tool, the only tool that is required of you. Every other process, every other modality, every other word, every other book, every other podcast, everything that you have cluttered your experience with to try and make sense of this reality and yourself is found in presence. In presence. In presence is where you will remember. And so as you move through this next shift of consciousness, remembering that those beings that are here guiding, and the being that you be guiding yourself, to see that there is no point between you and another that is different. And anytime you want to point the finger outwardly, to return it back into the self and soften a little. That is where your strength is. That is where your compassion is. That is where your resilience is. That is where you as an individual being will meet what is needed for you in the coming days. As the end of days is coming, and that is an end of the three-dimensional consciousness. That is the end of the world as you know it now, and the start of a new experience. That you are in that shift, that it is happening, that some of you are close to completing that cycle completely, and others are just beginning. And this is how the dimensional expressions of frequency and vibration work, is that some will lead and some will follow. That is the cycle of evolution. We are not all supposed to do it together. We are not all supposed to move through it in one go. There is not a tipping point that will create a magical new reality. There is a tipping point that allows for a consciousness shift to be chosen. And that shift may be rapid, it may be fast, but it is not going to transform what you see now. So make peace with what you see now. Make peace with the hurt. Make peace with the suffering. Make peace with the war. Make peace with yourself, because you will not disappear. You are there as long as you continue to be a physical human being. And that you will need to remember this so that you can return to Source again, again, and again, and again, and again, if that is what you desire. And in that, you will find peace. You will find enlightenment. You will find transcendence. And the ego that has controlled you, and the identity that was created to keep you alive, will dissolve. But only through that acceptance and recognition that this is the way. The way is to become one with it all. So I don't think I've ever done a channel where my neck's gone to one side like that before, ever. So hopefully everyone's eyes were nicely closed. Have a beautiful, beautiful rest of your day. And I'm sending you lots of love, lots of gratitude and divine guidance as we continue to remember that which we are. I love you.